Imagine if a silkworm refused to spin its cocoon because the work was too boring. It would never transform into a rare, beautiful silk moth. The same goes for your life. The boring tasks you avoid, they are the very cocoon you need to build your dreams. Meet Gohan, someone just like you, who faced dull tasks at every turn. But through lessons from Eastern philosophy, he discovered how to train his brain to embrace these tasks and transform his reality. Here's how you can too. Part 1. The reality of boredom, facing the wall. Gohan had big dreams. He wanted to crush it in school, build a thriving business, and achieve peak fitness. But no matter what goal he chased, he kept running into the same roadblock: boredom. The endless studying, the mountains of paperwork, the repetitive meal prepping, the same workouts over and over. They all felt like walls, blocking his path and draining his motivation. At first, Gohan thought something was wrong with him. He wondered why he couldn't stay excited, why every task eventually became dull. He was chasing these inspiring goals, but the work to get there seemed mind-numbingly repetitive. Sound familiar? Maybe you felt the same. That frustrating sense that boredom is keeping you from reaching your full potential. But here's the truth. Boredom is universal. It's not unique to you, and it's not a sign of failure. Every dream job, passion project, or fitness journey comes with boring, repetitive tasks. That's just how reality works. The parts we love, the achievements, the breakthroughs, the highlights, are built on foundations of monotonous work. It's easy to love the outcome, but it's the boring process that makes the outcome possible. In Zen Buddhism, there's a practice called Seiza, the art of sitting still and facing discomfort without running away. At first, it's agonizing. Your legs go numb, your mind screams for distraction, and the urge to quit is overwhelming. But if you endure, something shifts. The discomfort fades, your mind settles, and you find peace in the stillness. This is the lesson of Seiza. Growth requires enduring discomfort. Boredom isn't an obstacle, it's part of the process of transformation. Gohan realized he had to stop avoiding the boring tasks and start facing them head-on. Just like Seiza, he learned to sit with the discomfort, knowing it was temporary and transformative. By accepting boredom, he began to see it not as a wall, but as a necessary step on the path to his goals. To succeed, acknowledge that boredom is part of the journey. Face it with the calm resolve of Seiza. When you endure the discomfort, you break through the wall, and on the other side, growth awaits. Part 2. The Silk Cocoon. Finding purpose in the process. Once Gohan learned to face boring tasks without resistance, he found himself in new territory. He could endure the boredom, but endurance alone wasn't enough. He needed a way to engage with the process, to make these tasks feel less like dead weight and more like deliberate steps forward. One day, while reflecting on his progress, he realized something crucial. The outcome he wanted wasn't separate from the process. It was woven into it. Just like a silkworm's endless spinning creates the cocoon it needs to transform. Each repetitive task he performed was contributing to his transformation. The tasks didn't exist outside his goals. They were the fabric of his success. This idea of purpose in the process is deeply rooted in Eastern philosophy. In Chan Buddhism, a precursor to Zen, there's the concept of Gong Fu, not the martial art, but the mastery that comes from dedicated effort over time. Whether you're making tea, sweeping floors, or practicing calligraphy, the repeated action is not a barrier to skill. It is the path to skill. Each moment of focused effort is a chance to weave mastery into your being. Gohan began to shift his attention from results to presence. He focused on the why behind each task. Studying wasn't just a way to get through exams. It was a way to sharpen his mind and build knowledge that would serve him in life. Data entry wasn't just a mindless chore. It was creating the infrastructure for a successful business. Meal prep wasn't tedious. It was a ritual of self-care and discipline that would fuel his fitness goals. The tasks remained the same, but the meaning behind them changed. By connecting each action to a greater purpose, he turned mundane work into something more, a deliberate practice of building the life he wanted. He wasn't just tolerating these tasks anymore. He was investing in them. Part 3. The Art of Shokunin. Excellence in repetition. In Japan, a shokunin is a master craftsman, someone who dedicates their life to honing a single skill. Whether it's making knives, shaping pottery, or crafting sushi, a shokunin's work revolves around one principle: continuous improvement through repetition. They don't see repetition as a chore, but as an opportunity to refine, learn, and perfect their craft. Gohan realized that if he wanted to transform his mindset, he needed to adopt this approach. He'd been treating his tasks like obligations, something to finish so he could move on to something more important. But a shokunin doesn't think that way. They view each action, no matter how small, as a chance to deepen their mastery. The task itself might be the same, but the way they perform it evolves. Gohan decided to shift his perspective. Instead of seeing his daily study sessions, business tasks, and workouts as tedious routines, he started asking himself, how can I do this better today? When studying, he focused on understanding concepts more clearly. In his business, he found ways to improve his efficiency with each data entry session. During workouts, he refined his form, aiming for precision in every movement. This change in mindset brought a surprising sense of satisfaction. The tasks didn't magically become easier, but they gained purpose. Each repetition became a step toward mastery. He no longer aimed to just get things done. He aimed to get things done well. In Eastern philosophy, this is the essence of the shokunin mindset, finding meaning in the process, not just the outcome. By focusing on the quality of each action, Gohan discovered that even routine tasks could be fulfilling. He wasn't just checking off boxes, he was building a skill, strengthening his focus, and cultivating patience. Approach your tasks like a shokunin. See repetition as an opportunity to improve, not an obstacle to endure. Each time you perform a task, challenge yourself to do it with a little more skill, focus, and care. When you aim for excellence, even the simplest actions become meaningful steps on the path to mastery. Part 4. The Bamboo Mindset. Flexibility and Patience. At first glance, bamboo seems unremarkable. When it begins to grow, there's barely any visible progress. For weeks, even months, it appears as though nothing is happening. But beneath the soil, bamboo is building an intricate root system. Then, almost suddenly, it shoots up at an incredible pace, growing feet in a matter of days. The key to bamboo's growth lies in patience and adaptability. Gohan found himself stuck in a cycle of frustration. He was showing up, doing the boring tasks day after day, studying, working out, grinding through business tasks. But he didn't see immediate results. It felt pointless. He questioned whether his efforts were worth it. Why wasn't anything changing? Then he came across a Zen teaching. The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists. It struck a chord. The oak tree stands rigid, and in a storm, it breaks. Bamboo, however, bends with the wind, adapting to the forces around it. Because of this flexibility, it survives and thrives. Gohan realized that progress often happens beneath the surface. Just because he couldn't see immediate results didn't mean growth wasn't happening. The hours he spent studying were building connections in his mind. The repetitive workouts were strengthening his body, even if the changes weren't visible yet. His business tasks were laying the groundwork for future success. He just needed to trust the process and give his efforts time to take root. He also learned to be flexible with his expectations. Instead of demanding instant progress, he focused on consistency. If a task didn't go as planned, he adjusted, like bamboo bending in the wind. This mindset kept him resilient, allowing him to keep moving forward without breaking under frustration. Adopt the bamboo mindset. Be patient with boring tasks, and trust that growth is happening even if you can't see it right away. Stay consistent and flexible. Part 5. Zanshin, Presence in Every Action. One day, Gohan found himself in a quiet clearing, watching an old master archer prepare to shoot. The world around them seemed to slow down. The archer drew his bow with a fluid, deliberate motion. His eyes, his hands, even his breath were completely synchronized. After the arrow flew and struck the target, the archer remained still, His awareness extended beyond the shot itself. There was no rush to move on, no break in his focus. It was as if the act of shooting wasn't just a moment, but an ongoing experience. Gohan was mesmerized. He couldn't explain it, but he felt something deeper was happening. After the demonstration, he asked the master, "Why didn't you relax once the arrow was released?" The archer smiled and said, "That is Zanshin, the art of continuous presence. The arrow may leave, but the awareness remains." This struck a chord. Until that moment, Gohan's approach to tasks had always been fragmented. He'd do the work while his mind wandered, planning, worrying, or wishing he was somewhere else. He realized that his lack of presence was draining him, making each task feel hollow and disconnected. Inspired by the archer's lesson, Gohan decided to practice Zanshin in his own life. He started by paying full attention to the smallest details of his tasks. When he studied, he noticed the texture of the paper, the smooth drag of the pen, and the sound of each word in his mind. During his workouts, he felt every muscle contraction and listened to the rhythm of his breath. When typing out reports, he focused on the cadence of the keys and the precision of his fingers. By anchoring his awareness to these subtle sensations, something shifted. Tasks that once felt draining started to feel grounded. The tension of rushing through things or mentally escaping them began to disappear. He wasn't just doing the tasks, he was fully in them. The work became smoother, more deliberate, and surprisingly satisfying. Zanshin taught Gohan that true mastery, whether in archery, study, or fitness, isn't just about skill. It's about being fully present in each moment of the process. Gohan's journey wasn't about escaping boredom. It was about transforming his relationship with it. He faced the same resistance we all do: the endless tasks, the monotony, the feeling that progress was too slow. But by embracing Eastern philosophies, facing discomfort with Seiza, finding purpose in repetition like the Shokunin, trusting the slow growth of the bamboo mindset, and practicing full presence with Zanshin, he didn't just complete tasks, he transformed himself. You might not be Gohan, but in many ways, you are Gohan. You're someone with goals, dreams, and a desire for growth. And like him, you've probably felt those walls of boredom holding you back. But if you can train your brain to embrace these moments, to see them not as obstacles but as opportunities, you'll find growth, satisfaction, and even joy. And now, if you're interested in learning even more, you can check out more books that will help you take your journey to the next level via the link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe and watch this next one. See you soon.